Good day to all of you. I'm Dr. Ganesh. Welcome to another chapter of Eat for Health. Today I'm going to talk about a topic that has affected our lives globally and is a concern to all of us nowadays. And this is known as the Covid-19. So let's try to understand what this virus is all about. But before we go into understanding about COVID-19, let's get an overview about viruses in general. You can see this COVID-19 has taken a toll globally. It has affected global economies. It has affected our social well-being, and of course, it has severely exhausted our healthcare system worldwide. What do we understand about this virus? As like all viruses, they require a host. It needs to first replicate, multiply in a host before it can get transmitted or spread to humans. They require an animal host. Almost all viruses require an animal host. So what we call this transmission from animals to humans, what we call as a zoonotic disease. So it's a zoonotic disease, means zoo means animals, which means zoonotic means it's from animal to humans. So this COVID-19, what we understand at this point, is a zoonotic disease. Where does it get transmitted from? What scientists believe, it comes from bats, and some say it has about 99.8% of the genome from the SARS virus, which originated from the civet cat. A kind of a wildcat species. How about, there are many other viruses around the world that get transmitted through animals. One of it is, we know about the influenza virus, which gets transmitted from chickens, birds and ducks. Then we have the HIV virus, which originated from monkeys. Then we have the Ebola virus that came from bats. We have the swine flu that came from pigs. Then we have the rabies virus that came from reptiles and mammals. We have the Hanta virus, which came from rodents, rats. Then we have of course the COVID-19, which came from bats. And then we have the MERS virus, which is known as the Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome virus, which originates from camels. And if you look back in history, in 1913, in the 13th century, there is this plague known as the Black Death. And this virus, known as the Yersinia pestis virus, which caused the plague, originated from rodents. So you can see all these diseases came from animals. Now how did it get transmitted to us humans? You see, why these viruses get into human body? It's all because our tampering of the ecosystem. What happens is, usually all these viruses, they live as normal hosts in all these animals I mentioned earlier. They live normally like our normal flora, our normal gut bacteria. They don't cause disease to us, but they live in a symbiotic manner, give us good immunity, they provide protection and all. The same thing these viruses do for their hosts. But what we do in the name of development, in the name of deforestation and livestock, eating meat, we cause contamination. That's where humans get into contact with these animals. It's either their blood, their meat gets contaminated through our hands, and then we touch things, and these viruses which will lay dormant in these animals, they get into human beings and cause diseases, because these viruses are not normal. They are not normal for us. They are not our normal good host. So they will multiply and use our DNA to multiply and cause the disease. Our immune system will respond and get overwhelmed, and we manifest all types of symptoms. So generally, we are the cause of all these infections in human beings. One thing about you must understand about virus, they are very resilient organisms in this world. They can remain dormant and on soil, on water, on the air for decades without causing any problems. When they get their host, they start multiplying at their own will. How amazing this virus, such is God's creation. So once they also can survive even after their host is killed. They can form spores. They can survive long periods. So seeing all these viruses coming from animals, have you ever heard of a virus coming from vegetables? Have you heard a virus coming from beans or nuts or legumes? No. In history has yet to prove that any viruses came from vegetables. So you wonder why. It's actually God's will. I mean, you would say that God created plants for us to consume. It explains that mankind should not eat meat too much, or should avoid meat as much as possible. You see? That's why God made plants very safe for us to consume. Okay, I mean, that's another debate for all of you. So let's understand about this coronavirus. What must we know about this coronavirus? First, we know it came from bats, even wild cats, and so humans, they consume these animals, we got the virus. So it is a virus that enters through our respiratory system by contact of a person that is infected, a saliva, of sweat, okay, so or crowded areas. Okay, so what happens when someone inhales the virus inside to the body? So it goes through inhalation and enters our respiratory system. That's our lungs, mainly our lungs. So our lungs gets, the first organ to get infected is our lungs. Okay, and of course, before the lung there is our throat, our larynx. So these are all part of it. So it infects the respiratory system. So once it goes into our respiratory system, our immune system triggers the immune response. So what happens? There is inflammation. So when inflammation goes up, when there is inflammation, what happens is we release a lot of inflammatory mediators, like one of it is known as the cytokines. It releases cytokines, and this is the key inflammatory mediators in coronavirus research, where there is overwhelming increase in cytokines, where it causes a cytokine storm. Okay, these cytokine storms will overwhelm your lungs, will create a lot of inflammation, a lot of secretion, then you produce a lot of symptoms. Yeah? Once that cytokine storm, so cytokine storm, and then you get cough, breathlessness, you get fever, then you get all other conditions like joint pains, joint aches. Okay. So basically our immune system will try to balance the infection from coronavirus. But what happens for those who are immune compromised, they're having cancer, diabetes, or other conditions, are on certain amount of drugs for other diseases, and those of course with low immunity, those who have poor immune response in their bodies, they get overwhelmed immune response. These are the people that can be it can be lethal to them. They can die of the virus. Frankly speaking, the virus itself has only 1.5 to 3% mortality, which means our immune system is strong enough to fight the virus. For a healthy human being, they can fight the virus easily. So only 1.5 to 3% of the total people infected die of the virus, which means it's safe to say the virus is not actually lethal, because our immune system is able to handle it. So when we don't take care of our immune system, our viruses, such low virulent organisms like COVID-19 can even kill you. So we have to keep our immune system strong always. So how do we do that? How do we keep our immune system strong and healthy always? By eating more high antioxidant foods, more fiber, more natural foods. So we must know what foods that cause inflammation, what food that reduce inflammation. Foods that increase inflammation in our body makes our immune system work too hard. When they work too hard, whenever we get an infection like a virus, like COVID-19, it makes it very difficult to contain the virus in our body, because our immune system is working too hard to control other inflammation caused by other external foods that we eat. So if we keep our body's inflammation lower, the stronger our immunity to fight the virus. Okay, so low inflammatory foods, good immunity. So bring down low inflammatory foods. What are the low inflammatory foods? That's vegetables. Again, vegetables, your legumes, your grains, your beans, fruits, nuts. These are all foods that bring down inflammation, increase your immunity, right? So what foods that increase inflammation? Foods that increase your inflammation. So high inflammatory foods, that is meat and meat products, processed foods. Okay, so these are dairy products, of course, dairy products, eggs. So all these foods, they tend to increase inflammation in our body. So we have to have a balance between these foods and low inflammatory foods. And furthermore, foods like these are very acidic, which is bad for our internal environment in the body. So we have to reduce these foods, especially in a pandemic situation like now. We have to boost our immunity. When we keep our immunity high, we know that we are eating healthy. We don't have to worry about the virus at all. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few recipes on for daily consumption. You can make on your own. You can concoct your own fruit recipes with vegetables. So there is a combination of fruits and vegetables in this recipe. You can use carrots, you can use celery, you can use tomatoes. There are so many combinations you can do. So for now, I'm going to introduce you a recipe where here we have some spinach, right? Okay, they call it bayam in Malay, and we have some grapes, and I have some rock melon here. All right. So now I'm going to make a simple juice here. Okay. What we can do is I'm going to take first. I'm going to try grapes and some spinach. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some spinach. This make sure you wash them thoroughly. Just put them inside here to your needs. How much you want? I like to make it really dense, I like to make it as dense as possible. So make sure you take a little bit of the stem also. So now I'm going to make spinach and there's a bit here, right? Some grapes. Put them together. If you want a little bit of sweetness, you can add some brown cane sugar, raw cane sugar, but I prefer mine because the sweetness of the grapes will suffice. Okay, so we have it there. Right there. So we take a little bit of water, filtered water. Okay, there. Now, so we get so that's grapes and spinach. So we just blend it. That you get a nice high antioxidant drink from the spinach. You get a lot of iron, a lot of calcium, there's some amount of protein there. There, right? So you can try it, and you can see it is excellent. Very nice balance of sweetness and little bit bitterness from the spinach. So it's good. So that's spinach and grapes here. So now the next one. So we try spinach and rock melon, right? So you can use watermelon if you want, no problem. So let's try that. Put a bit of spinach here. More spinach. Okay, bit more. So you're getting a lot of ions, a lot of fiber, a lot of vitamins from the melon. Okay, so let's put up here. So I've got some melon here. Okay, so again some water. Okay, now so this is melon and spinach, right? Okay, so you get a nice green juice here, right? So I can show you this here. So you get, right, that's melon, and so we can try it. So you can see, yes, this is less sweet, but you get all the fiber, you get all the little sweetness from the melon. It's good, right? So now let's go to the next juice, that is grapes and rock melon. So let's go here. Sorry. So let's take some grapes. Right. So we can take this melon here, just cut it half, bit of a small, just to fit the size of it. Okay, so we got one piece of melon, probably another small piece you can mix. Yep. Okay, so then get a little bit of water. So this is entirely fruits. These two has vegetables, this one has just fruits. So this example you can make lot of combination here. So make sure you don't strain the fiber, you must take it all with the fiber. So here, there. So 3 powerful, high, this is very sweet, yeah. So juices, high antioxidant. So you can do this with various combination with the vegetables of your liking, and you can make these juices. You can take them every day, and it will give you good immune boosting, antioxidant power, keeps your immune health healthy, and you don't have to worry about the coronavirus at all. You will be protected. Until my next video, I hope you enjoyed this video, and click the subscribe button, and thank you for watching. Stay healthy and live long.